Hello everybody, this is Gareth Cahoon Speaks back here with another video. I'd like you to hit the subscribe bar, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, or hit the notification bell to be notified when I post my next post. Or otherwise you could donate to my ministry and the charities that I support at garethcahoon3@gmail.com on PayPal. This one here is part 3 of three. Well, there's going to be more than 3, but 3-part. If you want to watch number 1 and 2, just scroll down on my TikTok, YouTube, to get number 1 and number 2. This is part 3. Miryam and Yosef from Nazareth's workshops to the ministry of Yeshua. Part 3. The real people of the new covenant lives behind the names. This article is part of the real people of the new covenant lives behind the names, a series by All Israel News contextualizing the historical figures of the biblical narrative, exploring the history and archaeology of the land, offers an objective framework for reading the text, grounding distant figures within their concrete environment. For centuries, Western art and traditional nativity depictions have maintained a specific imagery surrounding the family of Yeshua, an isolated, impoverished couple surviving in a remote, quiet hamlet entirely removed from urban civilization. In these accounts, Joseph is frequently represented as an elder carpenter working within a small rustic workshop. However, aligning the original texts of the New Covenant with modern archaeological excavations in the Lower Galilee presents a significant different historical reality. Far from being disconnected from the ancient world, Miryam and Yosef appear to be highly skilled, resilient Judean migrants who settled in the Galilee and were deeply embedded within the major economic and construction boom of the first century. Yosef, the tecton, beyond the traditional carpenter. To understand the daily life of Yosef, Mehi, Ad, and Miryam, exalted or beloved. A closer look at the text and material culture reveals a dynamic, devout household. In Matthew 13, verse 55, Yosef is defined by the Greek term tecton, while almost universally translated as carpenter. Standard lexicons note a wider range of an artisan or builder, craftsman, working with wood, stone, or metal. In the limestone abundant, timber scarce topography of the Lower Galilee, Yosef would have operated primarily as a stonemason and a structural builder. This required technical knowledge, practical geometry, and the regional mobility to follow major building projects. Meanwhile, archaeological insights from the Nazareth Archaeological Project, led by Ken Dark, illuminate Miryam's specific domain. Excavations of the first century domestic structures in Nazareth demonstrate a strict adherence by Jewish purity laws. Halakha, the widespread presence of locally produced chopped stone vessels, which unlike pottery could not contact ritual impurity, highlights a home tightly managed according to observant Jewish traditions. While Yosef shaped the structural stone outside, Miryam maintained the ritual integrity of the stone vessels within the home. Furthermore, their identity as Judean migrants is personally reflected in the naming of their family. The names of their children, Yeshua, Yaakov, and Yosef, Simeon, and Yehuda, were not accidental. They directly echoed the patriarchs and national deliverers of Israel. The naming pattern underscores a household steeped in profound biblical literacy, covenantal identity, and messianic expectations. Nazareth and the Sepphoris, a conduct for dynamic labour. This professional and cultural background gains immense significance when paired with local geography. Nazareth, set just an hour's walk, about 6 kilometres northwest from Sepphoris, known in Hebrew as Zipporah. During the youth of Yeshua, Herod Antipas was refounding this city as his primary capital. The ancient historian Flavius Josephus would later describe the rebuilt metropolis as an ornament of all Galilee. Archaeological field reports from Sepphoris describe a sophisticated Roman Hellenistic centre with paved colonnade streets, a high hillside, theatre and villas adorned with exquisite mosaics. The wealthy urban culture developed right at Nazareth's doorstep, creating an immediate economic gravitational pull for neighbouring ritual or rural craftsmen. This imperial project required a steady stream of skilled masons, stone carvers, and tectonians. It is highly probable that Yosef and later Yeshua travelled to the nearby site for contract work, directly exposing their household to Roman architecture, international trade, and the cosmopolitan, multilingual environment. This practical unbringing is clearly reflected in the gospel records, where the teachings of Yeshua frequently employ precise building vocabulary, such as constructing foundations on rock, Matthew 7 verse 24, calculating the cost of the towers, Luke 14 verse 28, or referencing the cornerstone, Matthew 21 verse 42. Far from a vacuum of isolation, these details demonstrate how deeply his parables are grounded in tangible reality of a builder's family, the lasting foundations beyond the monuments. Ultimately, their legacy provides a powerful historical model of devotion, operating outside the institutional or political prominence. The material culture uncovered in early Roman Nazareth offers a tangible link to this artisan household, demonstrating that while the grand imperial monuments of the first century have long since faded, a life built on practical integrity leaves a lasting foundation. Yet the quiet village of Nazareth was only the beginning. The diligently high, mobile, and observant lifestyle Yeshua witnessed in the hills of the Lower Galilee formed the backdrop for the launch of his earthly ministry. As he began to preach the kingdom of heaven, his path led him to the stone workshops of Nazareth, down to the bursting shores of the Sea of Galilee. There he would call his first disciples, not from the religious elite of Jerusalem, but from the rigorous maritime trades of the lake, inviting them to become fishers of men. As the narrative shifts the rocky hills of Nazareth down to the waters of the Galilee, the stage is set to discover how a very different realm of labour would anchor foundational days of the New Covenant accounts. Real People of the New Covenant series, Part 1. Zechariah and Elisheva in the Book of Luke reveal temple era priestly life. And Part 2, Yochanan the Baptist, the dissident of the new priestly elite. Come back for Part 4 of this post the next time. Shalom, Maranatha, and Hallelujah.